All right, we're out in the barn today. This is a 2020 2038R. I'm using it today with my Femco sprayer that you can get from Tractor Supply. This is a 12 volt powered sprayer that I use around the property here. The typical power connection that I'd used in the past uses the cigarette lighter. So it connects with standard SAE connection that you can see here. Just a regular two wire connection with a cigarette lighter and little rocker switch. I find this little rocker switch to be a little bit out of place when I need to turn it on and off, and then I tend to wiggle out the power supply, and I'm constantly fumbling around trying to keep that plugged in. So I decided to wire up something a little bit more permanent for my sprayer. So I'm running power from underneath the driver's station to a switch on the fender, and then out the ROPS into the back of the unit here, so I can plug in this little 12 volt sprayer or anything else that might be 12 volt that uses the SE connection. So the way I've got this wired up, my power lead comes out the ROPS here on the back. There is a rubber grommet that comes out underneath the fender, out past the ROPS, and then you can see I've got my power lead here. And then I've got the one of the dust covers here just screwed in underneath this bolt to keep that covered when not in use. So that's where my power lead comes back to the sprayer. So I've got it back here to the sprayer pump. On the fender well, I've got a lighted power switch here. So when this is on, it'll light up red so I can see that it's on versus off. Very easy to get to, very comfortable to turn and look back at the attachment and see it there. The wire for this, as I said, comes up under the ROPS there. You can see it better from this side. Comes up under the ROPS. In order to wire this up, the easiest way to do this, underneath this fender of the 2038R, there is a dirt cover or dust cover, whatever you want to call it, up underneath here. The easiest way to do this is to take that one bolt out there. And then down on the front of the fender cover, there are two bolts up underneath there. If you take those three bolts out, this entire cover will come down and sit down on the wheel, and then you can pull it out, and then you have full access to everything up underneath here, including all the wiring harness and switches and things like that. Coming around here to the front of the fender, I took this dust cover off here where the draft control knob is. There's two bolts in the back. The draft control will just pull off, and take this bolt off. I ran my power lead from the ROPS down through here, and I zip tied it along the way to the factory wiring harness. There is another fuse panel underneath here. I didn't connect here, but I ran it down and underneath the rubber mat. So if you're familiar with these tractors, this rubber mat sits on top of a plastic base. So essentially my wire is running out underneath there, down along that little hump, and it runs up underneath the operator station here. Runs up underneath what I call the cow, runs up underneath here, and up past the ECM. So if you look in here, it's a little dark. If you look in here by the ECM, you can see my power lead wire coming up here by the ECM, going around the factory harness, and then it goes across the other side of the operator station. Now, this rubber mat, these are just standard automotive push pins, so they will pop out and you can reuse them and push them back in. Very simple to pull off. With a couple flathead screwdrivers, you can just pop those off and then lay this back out of your way, run your wire up underneath there. Use a fish wire to run it up through here, and then around, and then fish it across the other side. Let's walk around the other side of the tractor. On this side of the operator station, there is a power post, power leads. So if you look in here behind the power station, you'll see that the ground wire is here. There is a constant ground here. There is a switched power here. So this is 12 volt switched. and then right below it is 12 volt constant. So you can choose if you want to run your attachment with 12 volt constant power and ground, or 12 volt switched power and ground. You can choose to wire it up either way. I did wire in a fuse just for safety. I don't know what attachments I'll be powering up in the future that might not have a fuse on them. So I put an inline fuse here, and you can see my power runs across from the opposite side of the operating station, runs across here and up into the block. So that's all I have today. Hopefully this helps others who may be looking to wire up a 12 volt switch to their fender over there where power is. I know a lot of people have talked about running power to the front, to the battery, but it is right there under the operator station, both switched and constant 12 volt. Hope this helps.